So just to remind everybody, you teach at Cambridge economics. Most people in rich countries are paid more than they should be. Well, the market says that's what they should get paid, so how could it be wrong?
Exactly. We have been brainwashed this idea that whatever market decides to pay people, we have to accept. So if Mr. Blankfein at Goldman Sachs gets paid $50 million per year, it must be because it's worth it. If people are poor in developing countries, it must be because they have low productivity.
Well, the argument's going to be if the market doesn't decide, who will and how?
Exactly, but is it really the market that's deciding it? That's my point, because for example, if you liberalize that international immigration, probably 80, maybe even 90% of people in the rich countries can be and probably will be replaced by cheaper immigrants. And we are not just talking about cleaners and taxi drivers. We are talking about medical doctors.
Yeah, that's a good example. If you created a process that would actually give credit deservedly and tested to doctors, you could probably have 10 times the number of doctors.
Exactly.
In a year or two.
I personally replaced a British guy 20 years ago when I got my job in Cambridge. So it's not like
Did they pay you less?
It's not like that people from developing countries actually have low productivity. The reason why these people can move and compete for jobs in the rich countries is because of immigration control.
And the whole society they operate in.
Exactly, yeah. Now the point is that the reason why people are rich in the rich countries is not because they are individually so wonderful. It's because they live in a society with good social system, good institutions, good scientific infrastructure, and so on. The smart ones actually know it. Warren Buffett in an interview about 15 years ago said, I actually believe that most of the money I made has been made by the society, not by me, because just imagine that drop me in the middle of Bangladesh. What am I going to be? I'll be a farmer. Probably I'll be a poor farmer.
Well, that's one of the things I don't think you talked about directly in here, and maybe this is. I think this should have been 25 things, and I hope we have time to do 25. But at any rate, but I would have made 24. Capital is the source of all wealth, and it's capital that creates jobs, and somehow it's the private owner of the capital is the one that's creating the value for the society.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's not just capital in the narrow monetary sense, but the whole social infrastructure. So even if you're a brilliant scientist, if you live in a country where the labs have no equipment, there's no research grant for science, and there's no good university system where you can recruit good research assistants, you don't do research. So actually, the point that I'm trying to make in that example, however striking it may sound in the beginning, is actually quite a reasonable one. It is that our productivity, individual productivity, is largely collectively determined. And therefore, you cannot have these people argue that, well, I get $50 million because I'm worth it. Right. No, because his $50 million earning is supported by the whole society.
Well, then you could go to my point 25, would be if the whole society is producing the wealth of the society, why are we still living with forms of private ownership that come from the 1500s? But
yeah, no, but on that issue, we have seen the failure of this socialist economies where they abolished private ownership, but it still didn't kind of fully socialize that control, because it ended up concentrating control in the hands of small minorities.
Yeah, but we talk about many forms of capitalism. Maybe there's many forms of alternatives to capitalism.
Yeah, no, but
the 20th century form of socialism clearly concentrated power in these one-party states and all of that. But you could have public ownership in many diversified ways, municipally, state, federal, co-ops, collectives, non-profits.
Yeah, and already, in a lot of economies, those things play a very important role, you talk about country like Singapore, you think it's a free trade economy. Yes, it is. But on the other hand, the government owns all the land. 85% of housing is supplied by government-owned housing corporation. I mean, in the countries like Denmark, agricultural cooperatives have played an extremely important role in its economic development. I mean, of course, it's not that agriculture anymore, so that is less important. But you know, in China, you have all the forms of hybrid ownership. I mean, it's difficult to know whether this firm is truly private or semi-public. You know, so there are many.
My point 25 would be, you can't have a more rational forms of an economy when you have a handful of people owning the commanding heights of the economy because they exercise too much political power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they make sure that their ideas are,
it doesn't matter how irrational what they want. If
that's right. Yeah,
they just have the power to ram it through.
Yeah, and especially when they control the media. I mean, they can tell people, well, you may not
us,
like it.
Not us.
Yeah, you may not like it, but this is how the world works. And you know, I mean, I just cannot believe how the people in Britain, United States, and several European countries have swallowed this nonsense that the deficit problem has been caused by kind of social welfare spending.
Yeah, it's actually the problem. It's really the fault of people who are going to retire. If only they would retire later, everything would just be fine.
That's right.
Okay.